Good evening, everyone. My name is Krista Bernasconi, and I'm the mayor of this great city of Roseville. I'm also a Navy veteran. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We're going to try to find the words to honor Sergeant Gee tonight. As you know, she was one of 13 service members who perished last week at the Kabul airport. Nicole represents everyone's daughter, niece, best friend, girl next door. I love my job. Those are some of the last words she publicly shared with us. And those images of her protecting evacuees and holding the Afghan baby are images etched into our mind, images that we cannot and must not ever forget. We're going to start our vigil tonight with the Honor Guard, including public safety personnel from Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, Auburn, and Placer County. We are honored to have the Color Guard from the Marines Maintenance Service Company Combat Logistics Battalion 23, based in Sacramento, joining this evening. Also joining us tonight are active duty Marines from the Recruiting Command stationed here locally in Roseville and Fair Oaks. Please stand and remain standing for the national anthem.
Present arms. Order arms. Ready, face. Forward, march. Honor guard. Halt. Ready, face.
Present. Color.
you very much. You may be seated. Nicole was just 23 years old. She was a 2016 graduate of Oakmont High School, where many of us attended. She enlisted in the Marines a year after she graduated from high school. Her husband, Jarod, who's here with us this evening, is also an Oakmont grad and Marine. Tonight, we hold close in our hearts those who were injured in the attack last week, including 23-year-old Marine Sergeant Tyler Andrews from Folsom, who was critically injured in the same attack. We remember and honor the 12 other service members who were killed, and we pray for their families. From the Marines, Lance Corporal Riley McCollum, 20, from Jackson, Wyoming. Lance Corporal Jarod Schmitz, 20, of Wentzville, Missouri. Lance Corporal David Espinoza, 20, of Rio Bravo, Texas. Corporal Hunter Lopez, 22, of Riverside County, California. Lance Corporal Kareem Nakui, 20, of Norco, California. Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover, 31, of Utah. Corporal Dagan William Tyler Page, 23, of Omaha, Nebraska. Sergeant Johanny Rosario, 25, Lawrence, Massachusetts. Naval Hospital Corpsman Maxton Soviet of Berlin Heights, Ohio. Army Staff Sergeant Ryan Noss, 23, of Knoxville, Tennessee. I would like to invite to the podium Senior Chaplain Mike Boone from the Placer County Law Enforcement Chaplaincy, who will lead us in benediction.
Allow me for a moment to draw your attention to words of an ancient poet king who himself knew grief on the occasion of burying two sons himself. That king, of course, is King David from the Old Testament of the Bible. Be gracious to us, O Lord, for we are in distress. Our eye is wasted away from grief, my soul and my body as well. Our life is spent in sorrow, and our years with sighing. Our strength has failed because of our weakness. Our body is wasted away. Our groaning has worn us out. All night long our tears flood our bed. Our bed is wet because of our crying. Yet the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. The cords of death encompass us. The terrors of the abode of the dead come around us. We find distress and sorrow. Then we call upon the name of the Lord. O Lord, we implore you to save us. Gracious is the Lord and righteous. Our God is compassionate. And precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his godly ones. Please join me in prayer. Almighty God, we come to you as a community in grief. We mourn the loss of this soldier, this daughter, a wife, a sister, a friend, one of our own. We honor her sacrifice, knowing that she gave herself doing what she loved. We acknowledge in this moment that freedom is costly. So we humbly seek your compassion, your comfort. We know as well that it is your strength and resolve that will lead us to grieve well, to mourn deeply, knowing that our grief and mourning is the last gift of love that we have to give Nicole. Father, give us the strength to conduct our lives in a manner that honors her memory and honors it well. Father, we ask these things, and that you will tend to our prayer with your tender mercies. Amen.
I would like to invite to the stage Mr. Richard Herrera, Nicole's father.
This is crazy. It's unbelievable. Thank you all for coming here. Thank all the Marines and everyone that's reached out to me in the Roseville area, in the city of Roseville. Everyone's been very positive. Can't believe this. Okay, Nicole was born, an angel was born May 1st, 1998 in Vail, Colorado. And I had two baby girls that both had blonde hair. I just thought, oh, I'm gonna live here in Vail with these, I call them my little snow bunnies. And that lasted for about 8 months, and my wife says, the kids can't go outside anymore. It snows 8 months of the year, the kids can't go out and play. I said, well, let's go back to California. Let's settle in Roseville. So we came back here. Nicole's always very ahead of her time child. I remember I bought a boat for him, a boat for all of us, a ski boat, and I used to take him out with a little tube, and I used to dump the girls a lot all the time, and after a while they got so good I couldn't get them off that tube, and then pretty soon the kids were going, hey Dad, you get on the tube. Let us drive the boat. And they gave me a little bit of my own business. So I don't let them drive the boat no more. That's Nicole just always excelling. Pretty soon I couldn't get her off that tube. I remember another time that 10 years ago, I decided I was going to take them all skiing. And I've been snowboarding a lot in Vail, Colorado, but the kids had never been up in the snow at all. So I took them on, they got all boards, and we're taking pictures, we're all pros, and we get on the bunny run. We all come down the bunny run, and everyone's hitting their face and falling down. I get to the bottom of the hill. And my oldest daughter, I said, you guys want to go up again? And my oldest daughter says, no, I'm not going no more. My youngest boy says, I'm going to stay on the bunny run. And Nicole says, we're going to the top of the hill. And I'll be goddamn, she got up there and she went right on downhill all day long. She was just tearing it up. She just couldn't believe it. She's always excelled in everything. In school, she straight A's all through her schooling time. She was always self-driven, motivated, never in trouble. She's always dedicated to work. She's a very beautiful lady. I can't believe that little girl's got all these people together. It's unbelievable. This world's a better place. I love you all. And the world's watching Roseville. The whole world's watching us, so do what's right. And thank you. God bless Nicole. Never forget her, please. Never forget her.
to invite to the podium Nicole's best friend and sister, Misty Falco.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for coming out. This is Nicole's mother-in-law. I asked her to come and stand up here with me. This has been the roughest 5 days of my life, and having the love and support from everyone has helped my family get through these horrible days. I don't know how many people here knew Nicole, but she was my best friend since the day she was born. She was an amazing sister, wife, daughter, aunt, niece, cousin, friend, and she was one pretty badass Marine. She wrote us a lot during boot camp, and one memory that we share often is how she complained she didn't get a workout enough. She lost 12 pounds, exactly 12 pounds of muscle mass, and she will never forget it. She worked hard to be the fastest, the smartest, the best Marine she could be. For Nicole, good was never good enough. She had to be great, and that's exactly what she was. She was great at everything she did. She was proud to be a Marine, and she was proud of what she was doing in Afghanistan. But Nicole was so much more than that. She was compassionate, dedicated, kind, and the most loving and selfless person I know. Even though she was my younger sister, she was my role model and daily inspiration. She pushed me to be the best version of myself. Whenever I needed an outlet, she was there with open ears and an open heart. She was that person for many, and she will be greatly missed by everyone she touched in her short 23 years of her life. My dad's sister and my aunt is traveling back into the country. She could not make it here tonight, but there was some words of hers that I wanted to share. She wanted to share these with you words. How do you live with this? How do you get through each day? It feels like your soul is being ripped from your chest with every breath, and every day you just look for ways to not think about everything you'll never forget. How do you just move forward? How do you wake up and not feel the immense loss and hole in your chest? How do you eat and not remember cooking with Nicole in the kitchen and all the fun times that you had? How do you listen to the sound of the ocean and not think about all those months on the USS Iwo Jima and all the conversations about what you were going to do when you got back? All the things you never ever get to do with her again. How do you even begin to think about Thanksgiving or Christmas or any other holiday when you know that the last one is now literally the last one you'll ever have with her? The same with messages, emails, pictures. All you have is all you'll ever have. How do you go back to the gym and not be reminded of what an insane workout regimen your crazy child had when you look at every piece of equipment? How do you turn on the TV or go to sleep and not think about her? How do you not look at it? It's her beautiful face all over, and while it hurts, the only thing that keeps you afloat is knowing that the world knows a little bit about her now, and you want her to never be forgotten. How many times do you put yourself through hearing those words, suicide bomber and explosion, and not think about what really matters? Even the simplest task of getting a drink of water is a reminder. I can't think about water because she always was dehydrated. because her inability to sit still. And in the final days, Nicole and her fellow Marines were giving their own water to children, families, to drink, and even using it to cool them down, pouring it on their heads. Take a song, a food, a place, they all lead back to her. Everything does. The world knows her as brave, selfless, warrior, and American Marine who served with the 24th Marine, with the
24th Marine Expeditionary Unit in Kabul, Afghanistan, and gave her life so that others would live, and hers was lost. She has always been a hero to me, and now the world, and she was much more than all of that. She was my baby girl, and I have no idea how we will move forward from this and not die inside with every breath. Without her, she was a Marine. A badass Marine! And she lived more and gave more in 23 years than most of us will give in a lifetime. I'm so proud and so lost. You weren't supposed to bury your children. And although Nicole was technically my niece, she was 100% always my daughter. So if anyone can tell me how you go through this, please let me know. And that's from her Aunt Cheryl and her whole family.
Thank you guys for every single person who's reached out and shared kind words and condolences. It's been very overwhelming, but every single time I read a message from someone that she knew or even a complete stranger, it helps my heart just a little bit more.
She died doing what she loved, and each and every single one of us can take her example of what it is to be a better human. And that's what we want her memory to be.
Thank you guys.
I'm sorry for your loss.
That was beautiful. Thank you both. I'd like to invite Aaron the Bolt to come to the podium. Aaron was one of Nicole's best friends, a Marine Corporal, also from Roseville. Aaron enlisted in the Marine Corps together, and they went to boot camp together. Aaron?
Hi. Nicole and I became best friends the summer we left for boot camp. I remember walking into the recruiter's office for my first workout, and one of our recruiters said to me, "Hey, Cummins, you better be Jarod's wife, Gee, because she's a stud." I remember thinking, oh great, the only other female here is already made for the Marine Corps. Well, here we go. We started our workout with pull-ups, as we always did, and there was Nicole knocking them out left and right. Meanwhile, I'm there not even being able to do one proper push-up. We finally finish up with our pull-ups, and I'm exhausted at this point, and we head outside for a 3-mile run. There I found out I could beat Nicole at one thing. I could beat her at running. From that day on, we formed a special type of friendship that I will always be grateful for. Every day before we left boot camp, we'd wake up, go on a run in the morning, and then go to the gym in the afternoon. There are days I would text Nicole saying I'm too tired and too sore to work out, and every single time she would tell me, "Come on, Cummins, we have no option but to train." We push each other like no other. She helped me with my pull-ups and I helped her with her running. We love competing against each other. It kept us motivated to get better every day. I knew from the moment I met Nicole, she was passionate and driven in everything she did. Her work ethic was unmatched. She never complained about anything and did everything with a smile on her face. I'll never forget how much sushi we ate before we shipped off to boot camp. We would go at least 3 times a week. It was one of my favorite memories with her. The week before we left for boot camp, Nicole and I planned out our outfits for what we would wear when we arrived. We had to wear a polo shirt with a collar, but of course we wanted to look somewhat cute, so we wore a very questionable shirt that technically had a collar. We both wore one so that if one of us got in trouble, we'd get in trouble together. Nicole was the epitome of selflessness. I will always remember her being there for me throughout boot camp. We'd be partners for everything, from fitness tests to workouts to her helping me with my hair and everything in between. Our drill instructors always mixed us up. They would call me G and they would call her Cummins, and we loved confusing them. Her work ethic continued into boot camp as she became and graduated as a squad leader. Surprise, surprise. She was always looking to help others with anything. She was joyful in her hard work, the hardest worker in the room. I thank God for bringing her into my life. She has taught me so many things in such a short amount of time. I always looked up to her because she was married and she gave me the best relationship advice when I first started dating my now husband. She was wise beyond her years. You can see how passionate she was in those last few photos of her in Afghanistan. Nicole, thank you for being not only my best friend but my sister. You pushed me to become the best and strongest version of myself. I will cherish the time we had together for the rest of our life. Your hard work and sacrifice will never be forgotten. I love you, Nicole.
Thank you, Erin. Nicole attended Sergeant Elementary School, Warranty Ike Middle School, and Oakmont High School. She stayed in touch with some of her teachers, and some of them are here in support and ask that we share their remarks. I'd like to invite Superintendent John Becker of the Roseville Joint Union High School District to share some of those remarks.
Thank you, Krista. First and foremost, Jarod and the family, our deepest condolences and prayers from the Roseville Joint Union High School District. It's been tough for many of the teachers on the campus who had relationships with Nicole, as well as Jarod, and their heart goes out to the family. Oakmont High School in the Roseville Joint Union High School District is where Nicole excelled and graduated in 2016. It's where she attended school for 4 years, achieving a 4.1 GPA while attending advanced placement courses and international baccalaureate courses. She danced, played sports, and met her future husband. It's where she worked in the Tiny Vikes preschool program as one of the assistant teachers. It was an honor for the school district and Oakmont to be a critical part of her foundational years. She remained in touch with several of her former teachers. Some of the comments I will share with you now from Miss Wendy Cox. Nicole was well liked by her peers. While she worked in the Tiny Vikes preschool, she was so kind and compassionate and always playful and fun with the children. I have wonderful memories of her and her older sister, Misty. They would often be in my room together, and they had a very close relationship that was so heartwarming to me. She was a beautiful young woman, inside and out. For Mr. Gee, I will always remember her for the strong, vibrant, and caring person that she is. We had many conversations about careers and what she wanted to accomplish. A service career was the perfect fit, and she always wanted to help others and make the world a better place. From Mr. Darby Moss, Nicole was an amazing person who was just coming into the prime of her life. There was so much potential in her to do amazing things in this world. Nicole died a hero in every sense of the word, doing exactly what she was made to do, help others. This was her passion and could be seen from the first moments meeting her. Even as an Oakmont student, Nicole devoted all her time helping others. She looked out for and encouraged others, her friends, her siblings, and her peers. Nicole was a person who made the people around her better. She encouraged others to do better than they were in that moment. When I learned that she had enlisted in the Marines, it made perfect sense to me. This was a person living out her intended destiny of helping others, and she wanted to help in a way that was much bigger than herself. One of the things that I am most proud of Nicole for was her constant desire to better her life. Whether it was continuing her education while serving or doing what she needed to do to gain rank, she did it with purpose. I was very proud of her when she earned the rank of sergeant. When you walk down the halls at Oakmont, you see large banners hung above the entrances to the hallways. On the banners is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." Through Nicole's strength, love, and service, she exemplified these words as a sister, as a friend, as a Marine. As you've heard from the previous speakers, all the amazing pictures of Nicole, you can go back in time in high school. It all makes perfect sense. She was a hero. She lived to serve. And I'm just proud that she was a part of our community, and she's here to bring us all together today. Thank you for allowing me this time.
Thank you, John. To provide additional perspective on military service, I'd like to invite retired Brigadier General Bob Hipwell from the Army, who is president of Placer Veterans Stand Down. He's a combat veteran who has served in Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and get this, he is the father of 6 current or former active duty service members. Mr. Hipwell.
I would like to say, first of all, my deepest condolences to Nicole's family, friends, and loved ones. I'm very, very sorry that this has happened. It's tragic, but I also want to say thank you to the greater Roseville community for sharing their love and support for the family at this tragic time, which they so much need. I'd also like to thank the honor groups that have shown up here today, from the Sheriff's Department, the Police Department, the Marine Corps, Fire, and First Responders. They're representing our community well, and it's my honor to be here with you today. First of all, I didn't know Nicole personally, but I can tell you from what you know already, she did not take the easy path in life. Graduated as an honor student from high school and almost immediately joined the Marine Corps, right? So that's a tough job. She had a tough job and she loved her job. As she probably saw from the newspapers, she was holding that baby in Kabul and she said, "I love my job." Okay? One thing that most of us know, a lot of those people that were killed last week were in their 20s. They were young. They barely know what 9/11 was all about, but they answered the call to our country. They stood up, raised their right hand, and they went into the military to help and protect us, to serve us. So Nicole is a best and brightest and hardest working and bravest of all of us, right? I can tell you from my time in Vietnam, my first combat tour, I turned 20 in Vietnam. I saw a lot of tragic things happen. I came back from Vietnam and I didn't get a Purple Heart. And it took me a long time to get over that guilt. Why am I still here? Why am I still here? But I can tell you, I've come to the realization you can be the best trained, best qualified, best equipped person in a military situation, and if your number is up, your number is up. It doesn't make sense sometimes, but all that being said, Nicole was a wonderful person, and there's a little story I wanted to mention to everybody here while we're here. The analogy, I would say, in order to have Nicole's legacy live on, and I know it will, I challenge everybody here to lead a good life. Like Nicole and many, many service members that have died for us, to live the American way of life. Similarly, my analogy is in the movie Saving Private Ryan, where part of the movie when Captain Miller was sitting on the bridge, mortally wounded, bleeding out, he's going to die anytime soon. He calls Private Ryan over to him and he says, "Earn this, earn it," right? He might not have, it was subtle. What did that mean? He wanted him to lead a good life because so many people spilled their blood for him. And then you see at the end of the movie, he asks his wife in the cemetery in France, "Please tell me I led a good life. Tell me I led a good life." So my challenge to you is, lead a good life. We have a wonderful community here. Help each other out. Help and support this family of Nicole as they go through this tragic time. So that's all I have to say, and God bless you, and thanks for being in America and living the American dream. God bless everybody.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Roger Meyer with the California Veterans of Foreign Wars. Roger is an Army veteran who served in Operation Desert Storm and leads the state chapter on the largest organization for combat veterans in the nation. Roger?
From the 1.6 million members and auxiliary of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, we extend our heartfelt condolences to Nicole's family and friends. In the Army, you are a soldier. In the Navy, you're a seaman. In the Air Force, you're an airman. But in the Marines, you are a Marine. Why? It's because the experience and training Marines receive change their lives forever. Once a Marine, always a Marine, and Nicole was an exemplary Marine. I have read how Nicole loved what she did and have seen pictures that emphasizes just that. The picture of her holding and comforting the child in Afghanistan is priceless. Nicole did not learn that caring through military training. Those traits she exhibited are a testament to the way she was raised by her family and by the way she was taught in school. That caring and dedication is what made Nicole and make our service men and women the greatest force on earth. In this world of short news cycles, I want to ensure Nicole's family that her sacrifice and the sacrifice of the 12 service members will not just become yesterday's news. The VFW's credo is no one left behind. That does not just extend to the battlefield. It does not extend just to combat veterans. No one left behind means that we are there for veterans and their families for as long after the fighting has stopped. We thank Nicole for paying the ultimate sacrifice for freedom. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Semper Fi, Nicole.
Thank you very much for your comments. As a veteran myself, I think I speak for all of the veterans here in expressing the bond that has united us all, veterans in service. I'd like to ask the veterans here to stand, wave your flag, wave your arms so we can see you. Marine Corps, Navy, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, get them up! Thank you all for your service. Our veterans and our community, we stand in solidarity with those currently serving on active duty and those who have served. It is a special calling to take that oath, and we thank you for being here in support of Sergeant Gee and those who were killed and injured in last week's attack. Since we received the news on Friday night, we have been hearing from people around the country expressing their condolences. Nicole's passion for her service, not only to our country, but to our world, is something that has uniquely touched us all. She shared photos of her life that millions have viewed, trying to make sense of an act of violence so profoundly senseless. A young life lost, a bright light that will shine in our souls. We've heard this evening that Nicole was helping women and children evacuate from a war-torn country to find opportunities and support that this nation offers. The suffering and sacrifice we've witnessed feels more personal to all of us since Nicole grew up here. She set forth into the world to make it safer and a better place for all of us. And that is why we were here tonight, to honor the sacrifice that she made. There was something about the way Sergeant Nicole Gee lived her life. She loved her husband, Jarod. She cherished her family, and she dedicated herself to her mission. And that makes us all want to try harder and be better. As we close this evening, my hope is that we each take a piece of her example with us. In her honor, let's move forward in our lives with compassion for each other and for most of the vulnerable among us. I leave with this quote by an unknown author. The flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier who died protecting it. God bless you, Nicole Gee. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see those flags. Thank you, a sincere thank you to Nicole's family, her friends, for sharing your love with Nicole with us. You remain in our hearts and our prayers. We hope you feel the embrace of this community tonight and into the future. I can promise you we will honor her legacy. A scholarship at the high school district has been set up in her honor for graduating seniors of our high school district. I want to thank the Roseville community and greater community for coming out and supporting Nicole and her family this evening. Thank you all. Have a good evening.